Well, hello everyone, this is Gregory. I wasn't prepared to do this podcast today, but I don't feel like I have any other choice because I'm angry. I'm exceedingly angry. And I'm trying not to let hatred fuel the things that I do, but I was trying to do other things just a few moments ago, like I was trying to work on my new book. Writing it, I was trying to do the audio for Tenants, and I just couldn't get past this conversation I had with my mother and my sister last night. A conversation I've had with my mother far too often, and one that I am warning her should not ever happen again. I know you're listening. I know you are. But it was my sister that threw me through a loop because my sister and I have a strange history. We both grew up in a really abusive environment. If we weren't abused by one parent, we were pretty much ignored by the other. And one of the last times I saw my sister, we're very close in age. I might have been 21. She might have been 19. And that was one of the last times I saw her because she disappeared to Europe for 15 years. God damn it with the fucking leaf blower. I'm pouring my heart out here, man. I guess you got the hint. Anyway, one of the last times I saw my sister was when she was a young woman, not barely 20 years old. And then 15 years later, we get reacquainted. She comes back to the United States. And, now we're in our 30s and we're both middle-aged. And the last 15 years of both her experiences and mine have changed us radically. And we did the best that we could to get reacquainted. Just because we are blood related and know each other from that very terrible history that we can share, doesn't make us fast friends, nor should it. So I've always been on kind of like the outer edges of our family. I'm not the black sheep or anything like that, not that I'm aware of. I've just always been a kind of disassociated because just the way that our childhood was. I mean, when we were in kindergarten, we were taken to Germany. When we came back to the United States 3 years later, we were in a town in North Carolina that was 10 hours away from everybody else. 3 years after that, we were snatched back to Germany. And there we stayed until I was 19 years old when we left. And my sister didn't come back until she was about 19. And then she went directly back and then went off the radar. I mean, so far off the radar that for 15 years, no one heard from this woman. Not a peep. We all basically almost considered her that point in your life where you have to, well, maybe I should make terms with the fact that she might be dead. She might be dead. 15 years later, she resurfaces. She seems like she's doing well, but she's not. She knows what I'm talking about. That doesn't have to be admitted out in public at all. That's not my story to tell. My story to tell is when I wrote a blog post I'm flustered. I did a podcast a couple of days ago about the confessions of being an agoraphobic in quarantine. And she took massive offense to the idea that I had given so much credence, enjoyment, and love to total strangers more than my own family. Again, there has always been a disassociation with my family because we were never present. Everybody else was congruent and together in the United States in a nearabouts proximity. They got to have holidays and everything with each other. We were not afforded that. So by the time we showed up, or at least I did, We were completely foreign and alien, and even my own grandmother said, I don't know why you keep telling people you're from Berlin. I'm like, because I've lived there for the past 5 years, and that's where my address is. Why do you want me to keep saying I'm from somewhere I'm not? That is my home right now. You see, I'm getting angry again. And this is another reason I have often disassociated myself from my family. Every time that my mother decides that I'm not doing enough to connect with my family, the more I push back and go, there is a reason. I don't want to live in the past. All of these faces remind me of a very painful past. I don't want to go there. Please. Just because we're related doesn't mean that I'm supposed to be up their asses all the time, nor mine. She accuses me of not being in more communication with my family. She says weird things like, people try to call you, but your phone number changes all the time. Woman, I've had the same phone number for 6 years that phone never rang. Never rang. And when it finally died, I saw no need to give my phone number to anybody else. As a matter of fact, I don't even own a phone anymore. I don't. Philip has the phone. Any one of you want to get in touch with me? There are a million ways to do it. People do it every day, for good reasons and bad ways. They want to tell me how much they love me, or they want to tell me how much they hate me. They find a way. But the thing that pissed me off more than anything was that on my YouTube channel, my sister made a public declaration about how I seem to that agoraphobia seems to cause me to be selective about who in my family I wish to talk to, or even if family is included. And I was so pissed off because, first of all, how dare you do that in front of my audience? Why would you do that? If you have something that you have to discuss with me, you can contact me. There are a million different ways. But you made a public declaration and said specifically, it seems like you like these total strangers more than you love your own family. To which I could only reply, absolutely. I see these people on a daily basis. I haven't seen you. I'm 47 years old. I might have seen you in the last 20 years for an hour total. It does not mean I dislike you. It means I don't know you. These people I know on a daily basis. They're in my world. You're not. You don't even invite yourself. Neither does anyone else in my family. And that's where my mother comes to play. My mother came in as to be the guilt rider on all this, to say, see, your family wants so much to be a part of your life. And I'm like, well, why haven't they contacted me? No one has ever contacted me to say, hey, what's up? How you doing? But it's my fault. And I'm not going to feel guilty. I'm getting flustered again. I need to pull it back. I'm just so mad about this situation because, again, this is the reason every time anyone in my family demands of me my attention or my presence, I have to immediately ask, well, why? We haven't been together before. There are members of my family I haven't seen in 10 years, 20 years, or even 30 years, and I'm supposed to act like we're all buddies? I do not know these people. They are not in my proximity. They're not in my daily routine. They're not even in the back of my mind, because that is the troubling part. When they all surface from the back of my mind, it brings up all this nasty crap from when my sister and I were children, and even later in that, and I just don't want to go there anymore. There is a reason I want to continue moving forward and leave all of you in the past. I love my mother dearly, but my mother is so convinced that the only way that she's going to be happy is everybody in her family gets along. It is not normal. So if y'all wanted to make it public, I'll go ahead and make it public too. There is a definite reason I don't want to be a part of that world. I was part of our little Facebook family page for a minute there, and again, I would post things and I'd get nothing from my family. No response, no likes, no, hey, that sounds cool or whatever. No, everybody else would get thumbs up all over the place. See, they all know each other. We do not know each other. I do not belong in this family. I am a guest in this family. But that's okay. It's not a bad thing. And I wish that these people would all understand that just because we don't communicate for decades and decades doesn't mean I don't like you. It means that we've moved on. We've started living our own lives. We've created our own families. I have currently, in my family, my husband, my 3 cats, and any one of you that listen or read my things on a regular basis and talk to me. There are more names that I see on a daily basis flood my inbox or my comment section than anybody else in my family. I've never seen anybody in my family comment or share or like anything I've ever done. I don't even know if they've even bought any of my books. I have a feeling they haven't. My uncle famously said, well, you should give them away for free to your family. Well, why would I do that? Well, it's like owning a Maserati company and not giving your family a Maserati. What kind of logic is that? Man, I get paid for my shit. You should pay for it too. The darker part about all this is that this is not the best time to be having these kinds of conversations. I have right now, as many of a lot of you do right now, this terrifying sense of dread, like you're sitting in a waiting room not knowing what the prognosis of the patient on the table they're working on is. Is he going to live or is he going to die? What's going to happen? Well, we're just going to have to sit in the waiting room and see. At the end of this whole COVID-19 thing, are things going to get better or are things going to get worse? I don't know. Nobody knows. But it's a pensive state that already keeps you heightened on edge. And for you to throw your emotional junk on me at this point, I think is not only rude, but selfish. We haven't spoken in years, and suddenly you have a problem with the people that I see on a daily basis, that actually acknowledge them, or even to my own mother, that you want to guilt me right now because I'm not going to go to Charleston for Thanksgiving. It's not even likely that you go to Charleston for Thanksgiving. See, I'm so aggravated. And this is why I don't want them around. This is why every time they become a part of the conversation in my world, I have to quickly cut it down and say, I'm not doing this again. I'm not doing this conversation again. I will always be disassociated. Nothing will ever change that. It's too late. I'm nearly 50. Maybe one day I'll meet one of my relatives in a bar and go, oh shit, how cool is that? And we'll have a cocktail. But I'm not going to be forced into feeling bad about not reaching out to people when they don't even reach out to me. How dare you? And how dare you do something publicly? I think it's rotten of you. I do. My sister asked if I would call her, and I said, sure, why not? And then I woke up this morning and I said, unfortunately, I've got other things I have to tell. Let me do it quote by quote so nobody gets a mistake. I said, unfortunately, due to a previous commitment, I'm not able to talk to you tonight, and I apologize for any inconvenience. And I was chastised for saying, you sound like some kind of businessman. Bitch, you can just throw your arms up in the air and go, I give up. You can all go. Go, go, go. Nobody needs your nonsense right now. I'm trying to figure out how to make a living, protect my family, make sure they're safe, and make sure they're fed. I don't give a shit about your nonsense right now. So if you're having a family collapse right now, oh man, I feel bad for you. I really do. But I can't let this go on any further, and I'm letting all of my family know who may listen to this. I don't dislike you, I just don't know you. And right now, I'm not focused on that. If that's okay. Sorry to be an asshole. Love you anyway.
Well, I mean, shit, it seems like you care about strangers more than you do your own damn family. Can't get no response from you whatsoever.